Hello, Creative Assembly. My name is Sky, and here's some ideas I have for your any upcoming Total War games you have. And really, I'm just thinking about the strategic map and what you could be capable of. Now, before when I mentioned like my crazy long list of just terms and ideas, I was kind of thinking that uh, if you could combine the world strategic and the smaller campaign map elements together. And I think the way to do that is, well, through a thing that was used in one of the Romance of the Three Kingdoms games, where you could create a province and a governorship. But I'll explain that in a bit. So one of the things I was thinking about was that in ancient Greece, what what was going on is that essentially you had a population center, uh, which also had its own military center. And in the case of Athens, uh, it was more of a naval military. And then you have Sparta and its military center, and you had other little cities and population centers that existed between. And it's just that uh, through the circumstances and events, the way they proceeded, the uh, you know this group was able to conquer this whole area, and this group, while it wasn't able to really conquer its whole area, it conquered other areas. And I'm really curious if, like, okay, what if you could explore or expand that and uh, have just like a lot more interplay with the player and with the environment. So like for the next Rome game, instead of starting at Rome, what if you take the time frame further back and then open up some further options for the player? So that way you can open up, you can have all these sort of groups that are existing and establishing throughout uh, Europe, and those groups can do different things. They can pursue different goals, and I don't know. It's a little complicated at first, but think of something like this. Uh, if this were to represent the Oracle at Delphi, so and that's there, and imagine a day-by-day circumstance where you have a player who could just roam around and do whatever. Well, okay, so what is my, or not a player, but I mean like a character. So like out of everything, you pick one guy and say, okay, I'm going to do something special with this guy. And so what you could do is a sense like, okay, he is a Spartan. I'm going to start him out in Sparta. I'm going to have him visit the military center and train, learn something. I'm going to have him go to the Oracle of Delphi. The Oracle is going to give some sort of prediction that's going to add to the traits of that character, and realize that the character doesn't have a military retinue attached to him, because you could perhaps say, okay, well, I'm going to leave those guys here to train or something. I'm just going to detach the character and have him go here for that purpose, and then later on say, okay, I'm going to have him go to Athens, uh, because he's been purified at Delphi. He's going to go to Athens, and hopefully the Athenians won't assassinate him. But while he's at Athens, he's going to study their things, or he's going to study their military. He's going to learn about what's going on there, which could develop a negative attribute of displays outsider ways, because when he returns back to Sparta, the Spartans aren't going to like outsider thinking. Um, that's how can you create an environment like those? How can you create various environments? And I think it goes back to my original thesis of an idea that, okay, how do you control land? Either through soldiers or through structures. And part of that, of the structures, is a throne, temple, popular, peace. And it's how does the leadership interact with the public? Um, Once you expand the land you control, you have to expand the government. What was going on in Greece? Well, they didn't really know how to control the land too much. The Athenians started kind of learning how to do it with the Delian League, The Spartans, though, they could never really carry on conflict outside of their land because they really didn't have the means. They had allies, but otherwise that was it. So I'm curious if, with the confluence of those two concepts, and just the idea of, okay, if you have all these options available to you, what can you do to the landscape as a result? So that's kind of a long-winded thing, but it's going to bring me to this next step here, which I'm about to show you, but I'll make a new video for that.